Hi folks, I'm the Reverend Johnny. If this is the first time you're looking in on our website, I want to take this opportunity to say that I hope and pray that you are keeping well in these unsettling times, even as we come out of our period of lockdown. But it's important to recognise that the impact that the coronavirus has affected probably every single family within our community in different ways. Within this church family, we have unfortunately seen the passing of parishioners as a result of the virus. Many families have been separated from loved ones during this time, and others will continue to feel the financial impact and pain that this lockdown has created, with jobs terminating in some cases. Please be assured that we as a church want to support you in whatever way we can, and so please do not hesitate to contact me if you need that support. It has been incredibly difficult not being able to gather together for worship and for teaching and for prayer at a corporate level. However, as you probably know, we've really invested a huge amount of time on various resources to help you all stay engaged in worship. We've our services online, services every evening through the week. We have a programme of events for our young people. We gather online still for Bible studies and for home groups and for an opportunity to pray. And then for those that are maybe a little bit more vulnerable, we have a visiting team that helps me so that you can get in touch with people on a regular basis, that you're not on your own. We certainly have not been a church that has sat back and waited. Even though this building here and St John's are physically empty, we are very much the Church of God, alive into our community, and with programmes such as Together Ballyclare, with Baby Basics, and recently in partnership with Ballyclare Presbyterian, this a new venture called Pick Up a Picnic. We are reaching out to those people who need our help in our community. I wanted to take this opportunity on the 1st of July, in this week, when churches have been given the go-ahead to reopen, to give every one of you an update. And please keep looking at our website for more detail as we keep providing more information. But the Northern Ireland Executive on the 25th of June provided a statement concerning what would happen with the reopening of our churches for worship, and that means that this week onwards we can open for worship, but it doesn't permit us to have our halls open for any other programmes or events. In addition to that, the Church of Ireland and the House of Bishops have issued a number of documents and guidance for clergy and for parishioners and select vestries on what it means and what it will take to reopen. And so whilst we're not permitted to open our buildings at present for anything other than church worship or for childcare, it is really important that we proactively work ahead to plan for the recovery to being together again. So this week I called a Select Vestry meeting on Monday evening to begin to discuss what are all of the implications for reopening our churches for worship again. I can tell you that our conversation was extremely detailed, it was thorough, and although we all want, and I certainly want, to return to church worship again in these beautiful buildings, we were unanimous that any return would need to provide all of you as parishioners with a real confidence that we had taken every possible step to make sure that these buildings are safe for you, are clean for you on an ongoing and sustainable basis, and that we abide by all public health and safety guidelines. Whilst I am obviously concerned all of the time for your spiritual health, I also, and my Select Vestry, have a duty of care for your physical well-being whenever you come into these buildings. And so can I assure you that we are doing everything in our power to safeguard all of you whenever you return to Christ Church and to St John's. At this time, the Select Vestry have begun a piece of detailed work to carry out a complete and comprehensive risk assessment on all aspects of the life of our church, and to properly understand not just what those risks are, but to understand how they will be managed. Until such times as a vaccine is released, there's going to continue to be risks involved in us gathering. We recognise that, however, once we understand what those risks are in detail, we can properly assess the different things that we're going to have to do to mitigate for those. It will be done as a matter of urgency, I can assure you. We will not hang back on it, and until we agree as a Select Vestry how these will be managed, we cannot yet set a date for returning to worshipping in our church buildings. It would be careless of me and my Select Vestry to simply open those doors to let you all in through the door without taking the necessary precautions for your health and your safety. Can I give you just one or two examples of what those are? In our churches, we have Bibles and we have hymn books. The guidelines that have been given by the Northern Ireland Executive to faith leaders recommends that we cannot use these because obviously as someone touches those, then they have to be all cleaned. So it's not recommended that we can use those anymore. So if we're not using those, what do we use? Another example would be around singing. And I know the science isn't completely there yet on singing, but it is suggested that whenever we sing, we are projecting our voices and droplets of air are obviously coming out of our mouths, which could contaminate. There is just two examples, and I can assure you there are plenty more. Simply by me putting my hand here on the pew, that area that I have now touched before I leave the building, that needs completely cleaned down. So I hope you can appreciate that this task has to be done thoroughly. I also want to just pick up on the fact that for a number of you, even whenever we do open these buildings again, you naturally are going to feel uncomfortable about returning immediately into church, and therefore it's our intention to continue providing all of the other means to communicate with you. So that'll mean online services, continuing with that. It'll mean our phone line service. The idea of the drive-in church service, where on Sunday night past we had 135 cars parked in the leisure centre car park, and the many other ways of connecting together as a church. We want to facilitate all of those things at the same time for those of you that will find it difficult to come in to our buildings. We've proven so much through this time that the use of technology, the use of the various modern things that we have are there to really help us, to complement us in our worship. And I'm glad that we've been able to use those for the ministry of the church. So all of this will continue. As lockdown begins to ease this week, with gatherings of up to 30 people outdoors, I have asked Diane in the past couple of weeks to develop an ongoing programme of events for families that allows all of us to still be able to engage, but engage safely and still adhere to social distancing guidance. So look out for those things. I want you to remember that in the book of Hebrews, the writer is clear in saying that we as Christians should not give up from meeting together. We need to come together. So it's my desire to get together, but we have to take these safety guidelines seriously. And so I would also encourage you to get involved in our many ideas. They're not exactly how we normally do things in church life, but please engage with them. And if you would benefit from other things or ways that we can help you, please get in touch so as we can support you. I'd also say that as we move into the summer months, it's a great opportunity for you to sit and think about how you can maybe engage more. And I would really love every single member of our church, no one needs to be excluded here, but every single member of our church to consider being part of a small group or a house group or a Bible study group. And we can facilitate those in many different ways. Even during lockdown, we've been able to prove that. We cannot exist as a church if all we do is wait for those doors to open and all it's about is Sunday gathering. That is not the definition of the church. And so I strongly ask you to think about committing for the future into a small group of some sort. This, folks, is a time to rethink what church actually is meant to be, what Jesus called the church to be. And I encourage you that as we come out of this lockdown period, that you will engage more. I believe also that it's really important, and this is a great example of it, where we need to regularly communicate with you, even if it means that we're not communicating much more detail, but we do it regularly to tell you what stage we're at. So please be confident that we will keep updating you. And if you have an email or internet, please continue to watch out for your emails coming in, or watch online for any updates that might come in through social media or whatever. And can I say to you that if you're not receiving email updates already, it could be that we don't have your email address. So please contact David, our parish administrator, on 07732 763 827, or email him on david@theunitedparish.org.uk. Please remember also to get in touch with myself if you have any questions. I'm available by email, johnny@theunitedparish.org.uk, or contacting me on my mobile, which is 07808 479 649. In the meantime, please continue to pray for the staff team and for the Select Vestry as we work all of these things through. Pray that God will give us the wisdom to ensure that we don't rush into this process, but be reminded regularly of our need to love one another. And that love is expressed in how we care for you. As we reopen, I believe that God is telling us that we cannot return back to church life and simply carry on from where we left off in March. God has been doing an incredible work in these months through many of us, and therefore I look forward to the day whenever we can open those doors and welcome you all back in. Excited for the new chapter that God has in store for all of us as we declare His faithfulness, His provision, His protection, and His goodness over us. And so may God bless you, may God bless your family, and may God in all of this receive the glory.